Ylopo has built some really cool stuff, and we want to talk to you guys about it. My name is Barry Jenkins. I'm the head realtor and resident of Ylopo. My co-host today, Brady, take a second, introduce. I don't even know what your title is. You got your hands. It's so many cool product things in the company. What do we say you do now?
I don't know what my title is anymore. No, I'm a group product manager. Yeah, I manage our Maverick product. I'm also heavily involved in home search and the Divas, which you'll see later in the presentation.
Yeah, it's so great. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna put it in presenter mode, and you guys, Brady, if you could let me know um, if you can see, is it in
Yeah.
presenter mode? Is it nice and pretty?
It's nice and pretty, ready to go.
All right. So Ylopo has a habit of building cool stuff consistently. We're kind of obsessed. My value proposition to the company is I run two teams. I've got a 95 agent team, I've got a 6 agent team. I've been in the business for 27 years. It's actually all I've ever done professionally in some capacity is work in the real estate industry. And so we are obsessed with building really great products. And today we just want to talk about two. We've got a wide release of what is called our A to Z design studio, and I'll be going deep on that. And then we have the release of 3D Tour DyVA. DyVA stands for Dynamic Video Ads for Agents. There's been some really cool technological changes within the business, and the result is, to be able to use some of the new technology to help video ads. So the idea here was Ylopo has a buyer pres already, and we wanted to create a listing. When I talk about these presentations, the heart of this tool is that for a lot of agents, they've got some presentations that created. Maybe you bought a template on Canva. Maybe you use one from your brokerage that you provided. Maybe a lot of experienced agents, they don't use one at all. And Ylopo started to see that there was a real opportunity for real estate agents like myself walk into appointments with data that has been updated. And so you're walking into an appointment and it just has an air of customization to it. So inside the seller alert, one of the data points that we are now injecting, and I'll show you how the report works in a moment when we get that video fixed, is you're able to put in the homeowner's address that you're going on the appointment with. And it's going to pull the home evaluation. And we're going to pull a range of those. Now, what I don't think you should do is use this as your CMA, right? Automated evaluations are never going to be as good as the CMA. What this does, though, is you're able to kind of position yourself to where you say to the homeowner, I've done some research on what the internet is saying your home is worth. These are what the automated value systems. Now, I'll go over with you in a moment what I believe your home is worth. But for now, what's important is a high end for your neighborhood is 700, low end for your neighborhood is 500. And we obviously want to position your home at the top end of that. And with my marketing strategies for you, I am going to be able to effectively do that. But again, I took the time to research what the automated systems are saying of your home. This is what it's saying. So already you start to see me use language that's very important. I did research for you, right? And that's what these reports start to do. Another example of this in this presentation, again, this specifically is about the living presentation. That's the example I'm using. When you're running ads as a Ylopo customer, so some reasons you might run ads would be to generate buyer leads or seller leads. Run ads on your listings. So we call that a listing rocket. When you win a new listing, you can go into the system $100 to $150 and run ads on Facebook and Instagram to generate leads or increase exposure. And when you run those ads are going to be automatically pulled into this example social media page. So now what you're able to do is say, these are some ads I ran last week, 2 weeks ago, a month ago. I went ahead and pulled them in so that you can see I'm an active marketer of real estate properties and securing buyers for my listings. Here's some examples. And then you take it a step further, Ylopo going to dynamically pull the results of the ads that you've ran. So if you run an ad on a listing, Ylopo can dynamically pull in the results of the ad so that when you're sitting in front of the seller, you don't sound like everybody else. Because if you've ever walked out of a listing appointment and the seller says to you the next day, you know, John, I spoke to 3 agents. You guys all were kind of the same, but I went with this agent because insert item of value. If they believe you're like everyone else, you failed because your job is to set yourself apart. This A to Z design studio, which by the way is not limited to listing presentations, and we'll get into more of that in a little bit, it automatically is pulling in data points that are relevant to a homeowner. You are telling a story to the person that owns the home. And that story is, if you hire me, I will make sure I put your home in front of potential buyers. And here's data that shows you how I effectively do that. Because let's be candid, everybody's going to say they're going to market the home. Most people are going to say, I'm going to put your home on Facebook. And you know what? If this was 2012 or 2013, anymore. But if I say to you, so let me zoom in on this a little bit so we can see it. Oh, I went to the wrong, there we go. Mr. Smith, here's an example of an ad I ran on a property across town. I had 8,300 people, right, look at this property. Of those 8,300 people, I was able to zoom out. I was able to have 6,000 of them watch the entire ad. Of the 6,000 people that watched the entire ad, 326 of them clicked through the ad. They actually clicked to land on my website. And of the 326 people that clicked through the ad, 7 people registered. Now, just so you know, Mr. Smith, my team is already reaching out, texting, emailing, having some really good conversations with that listing ad that we ran for the other client. And Mr. Smith, if you hire me, I'm going to do the same thing for you. So what you're seeing again, guys, you're telling the story. That zoom back out. There we go. You are telling the story that you are an active marketer of social media ads. Let's pause for a moment and contrast this to what most agents are doing and what I said in the beginning. Most agents have a really well done Canva template that they made 4 years ago. And you know, if it's a male photo, a headshot, they don't have a beard anymore, right? The photo has a beard, they don't have a beard anymore. They look different, right? It has not been updated in a while because it's a lot of work. And the thing we lie to ourselves and we say to ourselves is, you know, it's not that important. I can win the listing without it. And you're right. A lot of times you can win the listing without the presentation. But what about the ones where the person is incredibly visual? They're not relational. They're not all about you because you tell good jokes or you were referred by a friend. They want to see that hard data. I'm talking about architects, engineers, people with that analytical mind. They are going to love this. Here's another example. When you're creating this listing presentation and you put in the address, Ylopo is going to programmatically scan your CRM. And what we're going to do is we're going to analyze all of the leads that are in CRM, and we're going to analyze where are they shopping for a home. And then we're going to take the IDX behavior in your website, and we're going to give them a visual, the homeowner, a visual representation of my IDX website, buyers that I have in my database, and the ones that are looking. So in this example here, Chris was going on a listing appointment, put in the home address. This page was automatically created in the presentation. And it was able to find 463 buyers shopping for a home like this seller's. Now, on one of my teams, I have 329,000 leads, I believe, is in that CRM. And I'll tell you, when I run that buyer map, when I'm doing my A to Z design studio and I'm putting in the address and my agents are doing that, that number is not 463. That number is 4,630. And so what we have to do is we have to say, Mr. Smith, I am not telling you I'm going to get you 4,000 offers on your property. What I am saying, however, is out of 300,000 person database, I have 4,000 people shopping in our area right now to look for a home just like yours. If you give me the honor of listing your home for sale, one of the unique value propositions that I offer a homeowner is I am going to tell the people that already know my brand, they're already in my database. They're not only on Zillow, they are on my real estate search website. I am going to prioritize your home to them. They are going to know about every open house. They are going to know what the photos look like. They are going to know what the price is because I'm going to email them. I'm going to contact them. And in that buyer, we call this the heat map report. We also have, our database size and other things and other factors that they should consider. Now, if your heat map report has 3 buyers shopping for a home, right? So instead of it being a huge number, what my agents do is we say, because I also have a small team with only 2,000 leads with 6 agents. And on that team, what they say is, Smith, I'm not guaranteeing you I'm going to have 3 buyers for you, but I already do have 3 people shopping for a home on my website that are looking for a home just like 3, Mr. Smith. And I'm going to call all of them. I'm going to invite them to the open house we're doing. So you see, even if it's a small number, what you are doing, the story you are telling to the homeowner is that you are not only just a marketer, but you understand the deep need of a potential seller. And that deep need is that the agent that they hire to list their home for sale is going to find a buyer for that property. It's important to them. And again, you contrast this with your templates, with your 3 steps to sell, and how you were rookie of the year in 2008 in real estate, and how your dog's name is Pookie, and your favorite color is blue, and you are an award-winning agent, and you're #1 on Facebook, which I don't even know what that means, but agents like to say that, right? You contrast that to an agent that comes into the appointment with a streamlined marketing plan. Which one is the seller going to be inclined to hire? It's going to be the one that represents himself and sets himself apart a little bit different. So we're not done. There's more, right? There's more data that we are dynamically pulling into these reports. Market trends. We have contracted one of the leading data firms on market segmentation, market data. And what this data does is it's going to pull active listings, median sales price, average price per square foot. It's going to show you whether it's a buyer or a seller market. So on the image on the right, it says that buyers get better deals when the market action index is low. So it's a buyer market when the number is low. It's a seller's market when the number is high. So you can see on the image on the right, in in March of this year, it was trending towards a seller's market. But now, as time has gone on, now we're in October and November in this report, and the number has dropped significantly, over 50%. And so in this particular market, it is now a buyer's market. Now, why is that relevant? Because now I have a market report that gives specific insight into who has the greatest negotiating power. Mr. Seller, I'm not saying that buyers are going to run the show here, but what I am saying is, in order for you to understand how to sell your home, you have to understand that there are more sellers than buyers right now. Buyers are the commodity. Buyers get to choose. So as we start to think of a marketing strategy, we need to look at the homes in your neighborhood and see, how does your kitchen compare? How do your bathrooms compare? What's the price compared to yours? What's the condition overall compared to yours? Are they providing closing cost assistance, right? So what some of you do is you talk about this in vague generalities. You're like, yeah, the market's good. I'll find you a buyer. It's going to be great. Whereas we go in, the Ylopo customer goes in with this report, which, by the way, after the first time you set it up, it takes like 5 minutes to create this report. It's not a difficult process. If you want to customize a lot the first time, okay, give yourself 20 minutes. Like, you're going to upload photos and do a couple of things here. And after that, it's really fast to create one of these reports. And the seller sees you and they're like, man, he pulled the market action index and the number of active listings in the last 30 days. My other agent didn't do that. He's already pulled how many buyers I have looking for a home like theirs. right? So again, we're not done. This is data that's programmatically being injected into these reports to ensure that you're setting yourself apart. We now have the ability in these reports to programmatically pull in either your Google or your Zillow reviews. You get to choose. And when you pull these in, you're able to customize them because there might be personal information there, something that maybe you edit. But now your seller is seeing social proof. I've been recommending to my agents when they get reviewed on Google and Zillow that the homeowner mention the city that you help them in or the county, depending on your respective markets, so that I can use that. If I have, a listing in Virginia Beach, I can pull up all of my Google reviews for the city of Virginia Beach. Across town is the city of Chesapeake, Virginia. I can pull up all my reviews that say I helped them in Chesapeake, Virginia, and you can select those reviews on this report. And that social proof is very important. So when you guys start using this A to Z Design Studio, what I want to make sure you are aware of is that the way that you talk about this is that other clients like you really enjoyed my services. And the copy we put above was exceptional reviews that reflect a pattern of excellence with my clients. We also, for all Ylopo customers, we are consistently updating buyer and seller blogs with custom content on your beautiful templated websites. And we had the thought to programmatically pull some of those blogs into this listing report. Now, if you send them a digital copy, those blue links are hyperlinks. It'll drive them back to the blog. If you print it off, the play here is, Mr. Smith, I just wanted you to see that education is something that I'm very passionate about. Go to my website. You're actually able to see some recent blog content that I have posted with regards to the process of selling. And if you ever have questions about the process, concerns at all, I'm an educator at heart, and I'm happy to have those conversations. Again, dynamic data being dynamically pulled into these reports in a way that nobody else is really offering. Further, these documents are now customized for your SEO. So if you want to create links to share, you create these different reports, create the different documents, you can now share them to your respective social media platforms, and you can customize the description to boost your SEO. And so all along the way, you're able to see a real strategy of setting yourself apart. These pages, the colors are customizable, the whole, and we'll hopefully see that video in a moment. But here you've got home sale timeline. This is stuff you probably have in your Canva templates, to be candid with you. The marketing plan, that's probably something you have in that printed workbook that you bring on your listings. We also programmatically go into your MLS. We find sales in your MLS for you or your business, maybe your brokerage, if you're a smaller agent and don't have a lot of sales. We know all of those sales on a map in that county, in that city, to where the homeowner, you get to show them, I am very active in your community, and I am able to make sure that I'm able to find a potential buyer or a seller for you, a buyer for you. And because of the activity that I've had in your market. We've got cash offer pages. So if you have a cash offer program, which Ylopo customers have Zoodealio for free, to where my agents can call a distressed seller and say, well, I've got an institutional investor that's buying in your local market area. And Zoodealio is the product that Ylopo customers are able to use for free. A lot of agents ask about, in the respective Facebook groups that I'm a part of, they ask about listing menus. And so listing menus are where, if you want to do a sliding scale of commission, you can do that. You can say, if you want me to run Facebook ads, the 2% commission doesn't allow for that, right? If you want to do a database post, or if you want to do a magazine article or whatever, you're not going to be able to do that at the 2%. Now, I'm not telling you to use a listing menu. What I'm saying is it's there for you to edit, and some agents really are empowered by it. Zoom back out. And then, these are additional pages. All of these colors, all of the images, all of that is editable, 100% editable. You can delete pages, you can customize them, you can upload them, you can make it everything that you want. And so, when we made this, over 700 presentations were created. And we just launched the living side. Over 8,700 pages were made for the buyer pres. And so, and we're adding additional presentation tools. We're working on a market trends page right now to where you can just send a one-off page to your database about the local market that you can create with dynamic data instantly. And this is one of my business's websites, DyVA.com. All your team does is goes to the tools domain right there at the end. And they have this entire design studio, and teams can lock it up, and they can create a template and allow the agents on the team to use it. Brady, do we have that YouTube link by chance?
Could be, yeah. If you just go and refresh, I think the video got shared on the presentation itself. So
Perfect. All right. Let me. Oh yeah, good. Great. Okay. This is kind of this is the functionality. I'm going to play this a little bit longer. The reason for that, the reason why I'm going to let it play a little bit longer is a lot of times when working with stuff like this, it's just so clunky. And the engineers have just done a fantastic job of building a design studio that we all can use pretty effortlessly.
ta-da. Kinda quick.
We're just going to skip a little bit ahead. You can see everything is customized. All right, and then we'll go to the next video. Oh, so that one we just played. No. All right, let me stop sharing. So does anybody have any questions about this before we move to the next phase of this webinar? I'd love to hear, and I knew by the fact nobody answered the question, I already knew the answer. For most of us, our presentations are pretty dated. And so, what my agents found was about a 25% increase in ability to convert listings as a result of going deep on data. That realized in real revenue for their business because they were able to effectively close on sellers in front of them, when meeting with them in a way that helped them to, just make more money, all by having data that's readily available. Brady, I mean, you're in the data business yourself, so I was probably singing your love language over there.
For sure. Yeah. Well, and
Um,
again, I mean, I worked for an agent for, I don't know, maybe a decade as kind of their data person, their back office guy. And, yeah, I mean, the amount of effort it would take to pull that real-time data, like we were sifting through the CRMLS and trying to like do a bunch of searches and then pull the data out and put it into a document, then put that into a presentation or like edit existing CM. It was just a mess and it took forever. And so, yeah, I mean, like looking at this now on the other side of it, like being able to click a
yeah.
button like adjust some sliders and bam, I have a presentation that has real data in there that just pulls it directly out of that system. I mean, it's just a huge time saver for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right. Did you want me to share and you speak to it, or did you
I
we
can connect. Yeah.
question how comfortable are usually the sellers by presenting online versus in person? Um, so I would say that the sellers are always more comfortable in person, but you can do it either way. You can send them a PDF, you can do a screen share Zoom meeting, because it's you can print it. So you can print it, you can send it as a PDF, you can do it in person on your computer, however you want to do it, whatever's true to you. And so when I remember when the team came to me and said we wanted to make this digital tool that's customizable, I said, this is probably one of the most uniquely tailored to a business products we've ever made, because everybody's business and how they're winning listings, what makes them unique, why a seller would choose them. I mean, talk about variety. There would be no way for us to make one of these and nail it. And so I told the engineers, I said, everything on this has to be able to be customized. Otherwise, it's just not going to be relevant to everybody. So really, I'm going to turn that around on you. What have you found? And this is a rhetorical question, works best with your sellers? Do you find in person or digital works better for you? So whatever you're currently doing that's working for you, this product is going to suit your needs. Now, I'll tell you as a coach, almost 3 decades in the industry, in person always crushes than over the digital and the Zoom. There's something about that face-to-face handshake that works better. That's been my experience. But again, the product and the workflow can adapt to whatever it is you need.
Yeah, and it can depend on your seller's preferences as well. You might have somebody who is a remote property owner and, there's just no way they're going to be able to do an in-person Zoom meeting. And so in your rapport building, you discover what their preferences are, and then you just tailor it to that. And again, I mean, yeah, I think if you have the capability, doing in person for sure, hands down, is always going to win. It's just, do you always have that capability to meet face to face with that individual? Yeah.
Absolutely. And we do have a few more questions. So before you get started, so do you do both? Do you print off the presentation and send the URL linked digital presentation as well? If so, what timing? I would not send the entire presentation to them ahead of time. What I would do using the A to Z Design Studio is I would create a custom pre-listing template where I would grab a couple of data points, a few things to kind of show what they can expect. I would probably create a custom page in there. And that's very easy to do with the A to Z Design Studio. Just add a page, add some text, super easy. What to expect in the coming days, and start to basically prepare them for coming. So I would send them the pre-listing pres and then go in person to them to meet with them and go over all of these unique data points. I really don't think, without me explaining to them what the data points are, that it's going to just jump off page. For example, the results of the ad, they're probably going to see all that and be overwhelmed by all the data. You, on the other hand, are going to have the gift of your finger and say, here is 8,000 views. Here is 300 people that engaged. By the way, the 7 people at the bottom, I'm calling them for this seller. So I don't want to lose the sizzle of the presentation by giving it away. Now, if they're not around, that's different. Zoom, send it to them. That's different. The other question was, what are the methods of doing the evaluation of the subject property? We've contracted with 2 of the leading automated valuation systems in the country that appraisers are actually using to leverage to help give them insight into what the value is. And so we are using those data vendors to do that. But if you recall my scripting there, I think the misstep for you to say, hey, I did a CMA and it's an automated system. I think you use that to tell the story that you've already researched online what the internet is saying their home is worth. This gets you out of jail from that. Because if those numbers are bad and they're like, no way, it's worth $1 million, you don't want to look like an idiot, right? Because automated systems don't work that great. But again, I know I've said it like 4 times, but I just could not be more proud of our engineering team to have this level of customization for a tool, a presentation tool that's normally a static, dated, and dusty document. is something that really is going to give you that ability to level up in a way that I don't think the industry's had ever before. So,
Well, it can
uh,
even be complementary, right? So again,
yes,
you're like, hey, here's these, internet polls from these leading data sources that say what your house is worth, which again are based on automated systems that look at like bed and bath count, square footage, recent sales in this same area, right? But I've also done some market research, and here's where I think that it lands, right? So again, you can position yourself as the expert and say, yeah, sure, there's this range that the internet is giving us, but in my professional opinion, with X amount of years in real estate and with the tools that I have access to, here's where I think it lands, right? And so you're just backing up or even, refuting what the internet estimations say to give yourself more credibility when you're in that seller presentation. Yeah.
absolutely. No, you nailed it. So, did you want me to share and click through, or are you going to share yours? You got it.
I
Okay.
can drive it. Yeah, I can drive it. We have one more question here. What is the cost of the service?
We're going to get to that at the end. So, if you're a Ylopo customer, everything that I just went over is included in the platform. And so that's there's no additional charges for this specific platform. So the question really is how much is Ylopo? And there's different plans that we'll be able to get into at the end of this.
Cool. Thanks, Barry. So,
Yep.
yeah, and start to talk a little bit about our dynamic video ads and 3D tours that Barry mentioned earlier. So, again, what is a dynamic video ad? What's the benefit of it? Again, it's another time-saving tool, and it's another tool that really enhances your marketing to your sellers, right? And so, previously, I can speak from experience, right? You take all the photos that you took for a particular listing, either professional or on your iPhone or whatever. You then have to upload those to your computer, edit them one by one by one, and then find some video editing program, find, stock sound that you could put to it, have somebody go in and throw image after image after image after image, put text on. I mean, it takes hours and hours and hours to get a professional video advertisement for social or elsewhere ready to go for one of these listings, right? So what do you usually do? For the lower end listings, you just don't do it at all. And for the higher end listings, you offer it as a service or you do it as part of your commission menu, right? This makes it so much easier to basically click a button, get that process rolling, and then be able to hand that not only to your luxury clients, but even to some of your folks that are in the medium tier, right? Which is just a huge time savings. So, again, why do this at all? We know for a fact, based on industry trends and social media, video is more effective than image. If you put a static image somewhere, that's going to get some folks. If you put a video in that same place, it's going to get more folks. And then if you put a 3D video that, I mean, again, something that actually walks through the home, similar to a Matterport, that's going to get you even more. And we'll get into some of those numbers. But again, this is just a way for you to click like 3 buttons and have that either video or 3D video ready to go. The big change here, we've always had this technology for our brokers. We're now making this directly accessible to your agents, right? So if you're a single agent on a team, and again, you had to go through a broker to do this previously or had to do it yourself, now this is directly accessible to you, and you don't even have to go to your broker to ask. You just plug in a credit card and you're ready to go. So how does this actually work step by step? First, you take your MLS number from your listing, you plug it in. You would then see, okay, either that direct listing or we'd send you an email showing you, hey, you have these listings available. You can either do the 3D tour or do the traditional DyVA video ad with us. From there, again, you just click a couple buttons. Some of this information is auto imported, so you don't need to like change the bed and bath count or square footage or price point. We should have that already. And then again, what's your objective? Are you actually trying to get buyer leads? Are you just trying to get general exposure for open houses? What kind of music do you want? And then is there any information that you want to overlay into the video, like open house information or, anything like that? From there, you then put your contact details and then your budget that you want to actually assign for the media spend on social to, again, expand your reach. And then from there, you just click launch. We'll then take all the photos that you've already uploaded and edited to the MLS and take them and put them into a full-blown video ad. So this one is the 3D version. So we have, again, just the static image kind of slideshow videos, but this is where we take AI and we actually use it to make the images pop and make it look like a walkthrough similar to Matterport at a fraction of the cost. So we'll look at this one first. So again, these are static images that we've used AI to make it feel like you're moving through the property in a sense of depth. So, So you get the idea on that one. We'll do one more just so you can see for variety's sake.
Welcome to 1625 Cuddy Sark Road. Experience the epitome
So
of
again, now
outdoor
we have an
living.
auto-generated
This
background
expansive deck that
speaker.
seamlessly extends from the home. Perfect for hosting summer gatherings or enjoying quiet mornings, this space offers ample room for relaxation and entertainment with its
Just pulled directly out of the description. So again, just makes it a one button, a couple clicks to get that video with the speaker, with the music, and with the information overlaid in that 3D tour that really pops. And then again, similar to what Barry was talking about, right? There's a report that actually shows how effective that particular ad was on social, how many people should see it, how many are actually expressing interest. Again, generating those leads for that seller. And again, right, we see a 3x actual click rate increase when we use the 3D as opposed to the traditional 2D, and a 2x higher lead generation rate. So people really like the 3D aspect of the walkthrough with the narration. That again, you only would get the static images on the traditional dynamic video ad. And again, $95 per diva. So this is like an incredible value. And we get this 4,000 per ad, people who typically see it based on those standard settings. 1,500 views, 300 clicks, and 5 leads, again, per listing per video. So huge amount of lead generation potential when you use this video technology.
Yeah, and Brady, go back to that other page real quick.
Yeah.
So I think if you are hiring a videographer to walk through the property, that alone is going to be, $400, $300 to $400, depending on the videographer. Then you're going to have to clip that video up to be short enough to be able to be used on a social media ad of like 30 to 45 seconds or however long. Then you're going to have to run in a Facebook ad, and that Facebook ad, you're going to spend, I don't know, $10 a day, $20 a day, something like that, to where, that adds up to where something like this is run you around $700, $800 at least. And you're going to have some form of lead capture. Excuse me. And they click on the Facebook ad to make sure that the leads are hitting your inbox. The fact that Ylopo has been able to take your still photos, as Brady said, still photos, splice them together using some incredible technology to be able to provide those walkthrough 3D type tours. And then the data speaks for itself. On average, you're seeing a $95 cost, 3xing the click through and 2xing lead generation. Now, why is that? That's because homeowners have made it very clear year after year, they just want to see more houses. And when your ad is different than the rest, you will get more clicks. And that's why we have such a high visibility rate on these ads, because Facebook is prioritizing them because they're different. And that's good for you. It's good for your business. You're generating leads. And that screen that Brady was about to go over, this is where when the seller's wondering if they're going to use you after a month on the market, you get to show them and tell them a story of how well your advertising is working. So this is really, really important.
Definitely. Yeah, that report is critical that you want to share out with the sellers to just continue the narrative, especially if you're using the A to Z Design Studio to start talking about here are the buyers in the database, here's my marketing plan. If they choose you, now you can continue to actually back that up with real data as you're running the ads, as you're going through the actual listing process, just to, again, keep that seller peace of mind that they're going to get a good offer out of his marketing process.
And we're working on redoing this exact template will eventually be in the A to Z Design Studio. But what you see here is, look, at the top number, 7,914 people saw the ad. Over the next 30 days, 54,000 people are going to see the ad. There's a story there. I know I haven't sold your home, but I'm getting a lot of eyeballs on your property, and those eyeballs are going to continue. And there's a subtle nuance there. I'm doing my job of getting people to look at the home, and people are passing on it. Therefore, we need to start thinking about a price reduction, right? So that this type of reporting not only helps you win the listing, it not only helps you find a buyer, but it also starts to tell the story to the homeowner that the agent you hired is competent and do the job that you've hired them to do. And if the home has not sold, maybe a price reduction is something that should be considered.
Yep. Because we're getting the eyeballs and we're getting the traction, but if we didn't get the offer, what's happening here, right?
Exactly right.
Perfect. So yeah, one last little note here that kind of covers the dynamic video ads and 3D tours. Again, just you mentioned okay, it's direct to agent. How does that work? We've basically released a whole new user management system within our backend for agents, and so you as a broker owner or you as the agent can come in, add folks, enter their license details. We'll automatically send you notifications if you're a Ylopo client on which listings are available to get the DyVA ad, and then you can just go in, put in that credit card for the 95 and go. So made it much simpler to manage users in a brokerage, getting the license details plugged in, adding and removing and editing users. So it just makes that process of getting your team on to create those video ads that much easier now. So very minor addition here, but just important to note that we've tried to make the
Well,
back end as easy as possible for you guys to use.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I don't really want to be fronting $90 for 100 agents. I'm just not
Yeah.
really interested in it. So the fact that you guys have turned that on to where my agents can create their own ads and spend their own money, that's a big deal. That's a
Yeah.
administratively, it's a bad look when we're chasing our agent for past due invoices on media. So this really is a big deal. And thank you. Draga is asking if this is available in Canada. I said yes. And thank you for a great presentation. It's our pleasure, Draga. So glad to have you. If you do want access to the A to Z Design Studio, the 3D tour, those of you asked about pricing, there is a wide range of pricing models that Ylopo has. There are base plans that are just a few $100s, all the way up to thousands of dollars based on what your business needs are. The A to Z Design Studio is free for Ylopo customers. Really, what you're going to see with regards to the higher end tiers of Ylopo, it's live leads, it's AI voice calling, AI text. If you're like, I don't need any of that, I really just want a website, IDX search with listing alerts, and I would love to have that design studio, then scan this QR code. You're going to have an opportunity to fill out some information. And then when the team reaches out, just tell them, all I want is the website and the A to Z Design Studio, and they'll give you the pricing for that. And same thing for the tours, right, Brady? If somebody's interested in that, we'll be able to tell them how to access those.
Correct. Exactly. All that will be handled on the call.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, any other questions from anybody on the call? We assume this would be a little bit under the hour, so we're right on time. Go ahead, put I'm going to do like what the streamers do. If you've learned one thing that you found helpful, put a W in the chat. That's what streamers do, Brady, just in case if you need to be cool at all. Just put a W in the chat if you learned one thing that was helpful. Thank you. We already have some people that said, hey, you know what? I learned something today. This was something that was interesting. And so I think that's what it's all about. December is a month. Thank you, Human. Thank you, Draga. December for a lot of agents, it's a slower month. I actually had the best. Thank you, Miguel. The best month of my entire career one December. I think it was 21 houses that I sold in 1 month. And that was because I decided that I wasn't going to just let the feast or famine lifestyle. I really was not into it. So I decided to stay consistent. And that's what you guys did today. You learned about a new product to help build your business. And that's what it's all about. We do have one more question, looks like. Okay, got it. All right. Well, Brady, I don't have anything else, buddy. It was a pleasure doing this with you.
Pleasure. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you for
happy holidays. Yep. All right. Talk
Cheers.
soon. All right. Bye.